What's good, YouTube? Welcome to another reaction video. So apparently Tyreek Hill wants to leave the Miami Dolphins. Anyway, if you're new to my channel, you know that I'm new to a bunch of American sports, which I've been reacting to, including the NFL and the NHL, including the NFL, NHL, and college football and baseball. But anyway, college football is still American football, is still football. But yeah, you get my point. Anyway, so one of the reasons why I really like them, I didn't know too much about Tyreek Hill. I just knew that the guy was really fast, and I watched some of his highlights, you know, when he was in Kansas City Chiefs, and then I kind of saw his highlights too when he was in Miami Dolphins, and that's one of the reasons why I was like, you know what, maybe I'm gonna support the Miami Dolphins. I don't support them, by the way. They have an inconsistent quarterback who's, you know, prone to concussion, and you know they didn't make the playoffs. But that's not why I'm not supporting them. I'm just like, I don't think I support two teams. I feel like my two teams would be the Buffalo Bills and the Baltimore Ravens. Yeah, so Josh Allen versus Lamar Jackson. And I know I'm gonna pick Lamar Jackson, but anyway, that's by the way. That's not what this video is about. Anyway, so Tyreek Hill wants to leave the Dolphins. Last time I checked, he joined them because of big money, right? They were giving him a lot of money, and he was like, oh no, I will pick money over winning trophies and achievements. I already have a Super Bowl. I can just go to Miami Dolphins and get a pay rise, right? And then suddenly I'm hearing he wants to leave, right? So let me see. I found this video. Shout out to Microphone. I'm gonna put the link of the original video in the description. But yeah, let's see.
A lot of money. If somebody comes to you with a lot of money, it changes. I just got to do what's best for me and my family, dog.
There was guys on the field that were competing, and we were trying to win a game, so my focus was there.
If it is, hey.
I've been watching the NFL for a very long time, and I don't think I've ever seen in an exit interview a player quite literally demanding a trade. And in this particular case, out of all players, for that player to be Tyreek Hill is absolutely hilarious. So
I mean, you pushed your way here and then you want to go back. I'm 100% sure he wants to go back to Kansas City, but like, they shouldn't take him. Like, come on. You can't just dug a team out, leave them going to greener pastures. You get there, life is not as sweet. You don't have Patrick Mahomes feeding you the ball anymore. You know, I mean, I heard that he claimed that Tua is more, what was the word, more accurate than Patrick Mahomes. So I think he said that when he went to Miami Dolphins, and suddenly now you want to move. Yeah.
Before we get to the content, we are so close to 1 million subscribers. Really good at guessing. What's going on, everybody? The 2022 NFL offseason changed the landscape of the entire NFL. It was primarily because we saw wide receivers getting paid an unprecedented amount of money. This unofficially started with Christian Kirk getting a huge contract from the Jacksonville Jaguars, which eventually resulted in Davante Adams being next in line to get a huge payday. Davante Adams would then get traded from the Green Bay Packers to the Las Vegas Raiders and agreed to a 5-year, $140 million contract. While this was all going on, Tyreek Hill was in contract extension talks with the Kansas.
And at the time, I think when he was in Kansas City Chiefs, I don't know about now or this season, I think he was like top 3 wide receivers in the NFL.
The City Chiefs, and why wouldn't he be? He's been experiencing unprecedented success with the Chiefs. He had arguably the best quarterback in the NFL throwing him the football. It only made sense for him to try to return to the team that he won a Super Bowl with. But alas, that's not what would end up happening. Tyreek Hill saw the amount of money he could earn from another team that had significantly more cap space and agreed to a trade that would send him to the Miami Dolphins. Once doing that, he would sign a huge contract extension with the Miami Dolphins as well.
120.
He didn't have to be a genius to realize why Tyreek Hill made this decision. I mean, he wasn't going to the Miami Dolphins to win, and there's no question that the Miami Dolphins definitely had the pieces that were needed to potentially win. But when you're going from the best team in the NFL to a lesser team that is paying you money, I mean, even.
And then I think they met in the flip, but I think they met in the playoffs. If I'm correct, Tyreek Hill and Kansas City Chiefs and Miami Dolphins, and KC blew them out, bro. KC like f***ed them over. Mind my language.
Tyreek Hill himself said what the primary motivation for this was.
It's tough. It's tough, man.
It's
but
money, bro. That's not
somebody
tough.
comes to you with a lot of money. It changes. It changes. The feelings start to change a little bit.
And I didn't fault him for that. I mean, he won a Super Bowl with the Kansas City Chiefs. We all knew what this was. He just wanted to get a huge payday while he was in his prime, and he prioritized that over winning more Super Bowls. And I don't have anything against that.
Fair,
he
fair
even said
enough.
that he chose the Miami Dolphins over the New York Jets because there was no state income tax in Miami. I personally thought it was a brilliant move to make sure that his entire bloodline, which is a pretty large bloodline so far,
Damn,
secured
bro. What you got going on here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Damn, bro. You Abraham or something? Yeah,
generational wealth for themselves, and I didn't hate that decision at all. And what Tyreek Hill would do next would kind of give you an indication that he was very insecure about his decision. I mean, he'd immediately go on a podcast and say that Tua was more accurate than Patrick
I said,
Mahomes.
yeah,
As
you
far as
said
accuracy
that.
wise, I'm going with Tua all day.
This is not
Oh.
a shot at anybody.
Right.
It's just stuff that had to be said.
It
right?
needed to be said.
It
so
needed
let's
to be
say it.
said.
You can just tell
I mean, I get that. He has to say something good about his team. Come on. I'm sure he didn't believe that.
from Patrick Mahomes' response, he didn't really care much for what Tyreek had to say.
I haven't talked to him since the podcast that came out, but I mean, I talked to him in Formula One in Miami in May, and everything seemed fine. So it's something where I'm sure he's trying to show that he loves where he's at in Miami. He loves his teammates.
But Tyreek Hill would spend the next couple of years stirring the pot consistently between himself and the Kansas City Chiefs. I mean,
Why?
he even claimed that he wanted to stay with the Kansas City Chiefs, but said that he was jealous about his usage.
When did you think that there's a possibility, you know what, man, I might not finish my career in Kansas City?
I'm the type of guy, like, I love playing ball and I love, being by the team. And it would be some games where, like, I get 2 targets, I get 3 targets. We'll go into meetings and my coach would be like, hey, we got to get you involved. We got to get you involved. And I'm like,
Get me involved yesterday, don't tell me about it today.
exactly. Like,
But at the end of the day, you don't have to be a genius to know what this is all about. He just
It was
wanted to
about
get paid
money.
more.
It was about money, bro. We know that, bro. We know. So he shouldn't come back crying. KC, you cannot take this man back, bro. You cannot take this man
Nobody
back.
faulted him for it. I mean, nobody could fault him for it. He won a Super Bowl. He just wanted to get paid. I don't blame him, especially because once you get into your 30s in the NFL and your production starts to subside, even if you're productive in your 30s, you're not getting paid as much as the contract that Tyreek Hill got originally with the Miami Dolphins. And to be fair, in the very beginning, Tyreek Hill had incredible numbers with the Miami Dolphins. I mean, sure.
Yeah, he
didn't
was almost. It
experience
was. Yeah, I think he was on like 1,900 receiving yards and shit. It was this season that it crashed.
much team success as he did before, but throughout the regular season, whenever the Miami Dolphins would play against lesser teams, Tyreek Hill was very entertaining to watch. In his first season with the Dolphins, he had his most receiving yards throughout his career, over 1,700 yards receiving and 7 touchdowns. But of course, the Miami Dolphins would get knocked out in their first game in the playoffs. In their very next year, in 2023, he beat his previous record for most receiving yards in a season, 1,799 receiving yards and
Damn,
13
bro.
touchdowns. But once again, Miami Dolphins would get knocked out in the Ice Bowl, ironically against his former team. But this past year, things were a little bit different. The Miami Dolphins
this
were
year's
very
been tough.
aggressive in trying to build a team around Tua and Tyreek Hill. They made trades for Jalen Riggs.
And I think everything crashed. I'm not gonna react to the entire video. You guys can go watch the full video. It's really interesting. But yeah, I think it was all Tua started having his concussion and shit just started going down.
For a drive.
I was informed that he was unavailable in
Yeah, what?
right before a drive. I was not informed on the players, and I didn't take the time to go try to figure out more into that. Just they're.
Now, what Mike McDaniel is referring to is Tyreek Hill, quite literally after the game, came out and said this.
I just got to do what's best for me and my family, dog. If that's here, if that's wherever the case may be, man, I'm finna open that door for myself, dog. As I'm opening the door, like I'm out, bro. You know,
Damn. How you turn your back on your team?
it was great playing here, but at the end of the day, bro, I got to do what's best for for my career and what's best. Because I'm too much of a competitor to be.
What? You're too much of a competitor? What are you talking? If you're too much of a competitor, you're gonna stay where you are and fight and play. You cannot be a competitor if you're just gonna quit and run away. Oh, KC, I don't need you. You're not giving me enough money. I've won the Super Bowl here. Let me go to where there's money. Oh shit, I'm enjoying the money, but this team is not as good as, you know, my other team where Patrick Mahomes was just feeding me the ball. I'm too much of a competitor. I need to leave now.
You know, just it's out there.
Tyreek Hill would also double down on this by saying, "Love Finn Nation, blessing y'all, open doors for the Hill family, forever nothing but respect and love." So he doubled down on his trade demand. Now, for those of you guys wondering if this has to do with Mike McDaniel or not, or if the Dolphins are thinking of firing Mike McDaniel after him having a lukewarm start throughout his career, I mean, on one hand, when the Dolphins play lesser teams, they're one of the most exciting teams in football, but at the same time, they've boasted terrible records against winning teams. They've had...
Yeah, that's the thing with them. They play entertaining games when they're playing a pretty average team. But every time I see them playing a really good team, they get they get destroyed. Yeah, I don't know, man. What do you think about the whole Tyreek Hill situation? Is there anything I'm missing out? Remember, I'm not some sports analyst. I'm like 2 years into the NFL, 1 year into college football. Oh, by the way, that Notre Dame versus Penn State was crazy. Good game. That was yesterday night as the time of when I'm recording this video. I'm not sure about when it's going to be edited and put out, but yeah. Well, let me know if you have anything to say about the Tyreek Hill situation. Please subscribe to the channel if you like this content, and I'll see you in the next video.